This is Mosaik, live from the Freaks Sanctum, and I am back, my fellow freaks. Because while 2017 wasn't the best year all around, it was a pretty great year for movies. We got some amazing films, and I have my top 10 that I saw. Oh, I have a top... 2017 was a great year for film. We got a bunch of really great films. Even if they didn't do well at the box office all the time, they were still really, really good films. And I have the top 10 that I saw here this year. Keep in mind, these are the top 10 films that I saw this year. And I didn't see every film this year. This list is very subjective. So feel free to tell me your stuff down below. But you will not see a lot of good movies on this list. Case in point, War for the Planet of the Apes. I haven't seen the first two, so it makes no sense for me to watch the third one. The Disaster Artist. Didn't get a chance to go see it. Get Out. It. Annabelle Creation. I'm not really a horror movie person. Like, at all. The Greatest Showman. Kills me that I didn't get to go see this. But there are still lots of great movies that I got to see this year, so without further ado, let's start with some honorable mentions. The first one I want to mention is The Fate of the Furious. This movie actually surprised me with how good a plot it actually had. Granted, it's still Fast and Furious stupid, but it's Fast and Furious stupid, so that's okay. Second, we have KINGSMAN: The Golden Circle. I did not enjoy this one nearly as much as I enjoyed the first one. I thought the audio quality was a little worse. I thought that it went at way too breakneck a pace in the beginning, but it kind of mellowed out by the middle of the first act. But I have to say, I still greatly enjoyed the film, and I still think it's worth anyone's time. Last one is actually a bit of a surprise, Atomic Blonde. I did not see this one coming. I thought it was just going to be another generic spy film, but I actually liked the plot. I thought the twists were pretty good. I liked the one-shot action scene. I thought that one was excellently done. And the performances from Charlize Theron, as well as James McAvoy, were all just excellent. They were excellent. Now let's start the actual list with number 10, Happy Death Day. Again, I don't watch horror films. I was kind of reluctant to go see this film. And you know what? I really, really enjoyed it. It's not that I'm a horror fan now. I just really enjoyed this film because it was funny. It was actually really funny and actually had a lot more heart to it than I thought it was going to have, thanks to the really great performance from its lead actress, Jessica Roth. She killed it in this movie. She was like, if this movie crashes and burns, I will have a career afterwards. And yes, she will. Not only that, but they managed to take this plot line of Groundhog Day meets Scream and kind of turn it on its head. It's like, and actually like, make it funny, make it actually kind of neat and cool, and the mystery of it was probably the most intriguing part. Not to mention, this movie fakes you out like twice, and you will not see it coming. At the number 9 slot, we have a movie that nobody had faith in other than myself. I don't know why. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. If you want just good theater fun, this is your movie. Like, this is the movie that made me laugh some of the best laughs I had in 2017. And I needed those laughs, guys. I needed them. While all these characters are one note and pretty blatant stereotypes, the performances and their video game avatars are excellent. The ones in their actual bodies still are pretty good. And there's actual genuine heart in the movie between all these characters. There is a camaraderie that is built. There is a history that you kind of feel is there. They work the video game aspect of this movie in excellently, taking advantage of every joke that they can make, every reference. This is the great video game movie that we need. And it's not even about a real video game. At number 8, we have Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this movie has some problems. You know, there are some plot lines that turn out to be pointless, there are questions that will go completely unanswered, and there is some stuff that you're just like, wait, huh? But, for the most part, we still got a really, really, really decent Star Wars movie. All the people that are seething hatred at this film, just saying it is the worst thing ever, I'm sorry, just disregard those people. I ain't the person to be like that, but just disregard those people. This movie is still good. It's not the best thing ever, but it's still decent. It's still alright at the very least. You know, we still got some cool moments. We still got some cool developments in terms of the mythology and the characters. And we got one of the greatest moments in Star Wars history. Can you deny that? I don't think you can. Don't at me. In the number 7 slot, we have Wonder Woman. The best DCEU film by far. Now, while I will admit, I did not like this movie as much as everybody else. I cannot deny that the performances were excellent, the story was pretty good, and the visuals were pretty nice as well. No more muted colors, thank God! We need more DCEU films like this one. Swerving into the number 6 slot, we got Baby Driver, baby. Oh my goodness, this movie is so freaking good. The plot is not much, but the story is what keeps you there. These characters are so freaking likable, and you want to see them get together at the end. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's so likable. Also, best soundtrack of the year. So, just, yes. I downloaded the entire soundtrack. Oh my goodness, it is so good. And so is this movie. Almost makes me forget that Kevin Spacey is pretty much a douche. You know, people complain about romantic comedies all the time. Then you got movies like number 5, The Big Sick. I love this movie. The two leads are so likable, even though one of them is pretty much in a coma for most of the movie. This movie has really likable characters and just a whole lot of heart. So much heart. Like, this movie gave me some serious feels. It didn't make me cry. It did not make me cry. But the feels were so real. These characters are just so darn likable and so darn authentic. It's impossible not to just fall in love with this movie, like the two leads kind of fell in love in real life. I swear I didn't plan this. The top 4 movies I saw this year are all superhero movies. Swinging into the number 4 spot, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. For those of y'all who don't know, Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes, if not my favorite superhero. I freaking love Spider-Man, and this movie exemplifies everything I love about Spider-Man. Tom Holland does an excellent job, but all of the side characters are also really likable. Liz Allen makes her movie debut with flying colors, and it really exemplifies the whole trying to balance a life as a teenage superhero. And yes, he is finally a teenager and stays that way. And a superhero life, which is hard. It is hard, and sometimes you gotta make the tough choices. Not to mention, this has one of the best MCU villains of all. The Vulture was scary, and don't tell me you were not intimidated during that car scene. You can't tell me that. Really, it's just when you hear the original Spider-Man theme start playing in the theater, you're just like, we're in good hands. the number 3 slot, we have Logan. This movie is supposed to be the swan song for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I could not have asked for a better send-off. This movie has heart. This movie has great characters. This movie has some really, really intimidating villains. Surprisingly intimidating. Like, you'd think they wouldn't be any match for Wolverine, but Wolverine in this movie is just toe up from the flow up. Oh my goodness. I love this movie. It's all pretty much is carried on the back of its characters, and they deliver. Every single one of them delivers. I don't know how to feel about Disney owning Fox now, and by extension Wolverine, but I guess we'll see, won't we? At the number 2 slot, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Granted, Logan's probably the better movie overall, but I had a better experience watching Guardians 2. I could not have asked for a better sequel to one of my favorite movies of all time, and this actually might be even better. From the start of the movie, you can tell that these characters have gotten really close, but they're still a bunch of a-holes, so, you know, hijinks ensue. All of the characters have their moments to shine and progress to a point where you are completely satisfied with their development at the end of this movie. It gave us one of the best villains in the MCU's arsenal in Ego, and while I didn't altogether think the Sovereign were worked in that well, I do feel that they were an important part of the MCU for various reasons, including expanding the mythology of the universe and alluding to some things that could happen and probably should happen going forward. And finally, we have the number 1 spot. What else could it be but Power Rangers? I'm sorry, there was no film I enjoyed watching more than Power Rangers this year. This movie gave me most everything I wanted from a Power Rangers movie on the big screen with the proper budget. Because this movie does what I think Power Rangers should always do. Put the characters first. Put their development first. Because if we don't care about the characters, why should we care about anything happening in the movie? This movie did its best to make its characters great. To make its characters some people you can root for. And then, also, at the same time, build the mythology. Give the mythology a jump start so that when they do get that sequel, and I hope they get that sequel, they have a place to jump from. They have a place to jump to the freaking stars, man. Now granted, there could have been some more action. There could have been a little bit less comedy. But for the most part, both of those delivered. I liked the score. I liked the score. I liked the plot. I liked the story. I even liked the absurd product placement. And it is the worst product placement ever! There is not a single thing about this movie that I did not enjoy wholeheartedly. And I hope that they can top their efforts, because from this point, they have nowhere to go but up. And that was it, ladies and gentlemen, my top 10 favorite movies that I saw in 2017. Let me know down in the comments section below, what do you think of my list? Do you think there's some stuff that should be higher, some stuff that should be lower? Let me know down below. Share this video with your friends, give them some positivity at the end of a very crappy year. Look out for my top 5 worst movies that I saw this year coming up really soon. But as always, this is the Free Sanctum, and this is Mosaik signing off.